Hello everyone, and may peace and wellness be with you always. Just when serenity seemed finally within reach, when the last wooden beams of a dream home stood tall against the horizon, the shadows of the past came rushing back. The house, carefully crafted by CEO James and Diep, was more than timber and tiles. It was a monument to healing, a place where love could breathe freely again. But peace has a way of being most fragile when it's nearly complete. From the corners of her memory, someone emerged, Pao, the ex-husband Diep had buried in her past. Once a name she dared not speak, now a physical threat standing at the threshold of the life she fought to rebuild. Would love be enough to withstand what was coming? Or would the ghosts of old wounds tear down everything they'd built? Chapter 1. A House of Healing. Sunlight poured over the hills like honey as Diep wandered barefoot through rows of vegetables. Soil clung gently to her fingertips, but her spirit was light. At the edge of the field stood their almost complete wooden house, a minimalist marvel designed without nails, just tightly joined wooden joints, symbolizing strength through cohesion. James had invested his heart and soul into every beam. He brought in sustainable materials, local builders, and Diep's quiet vision. It was, in every sense, a home made of love, until Pao returned. No longer the man she had left, a heavy drinker and a heartbreaker, he claimed to be reborn. Sober, humbled, changed, he said he lived alone in the mountains and simply wanted to make peace. Their first reunion was almost casual. He helped her carry produce, offered a smile. But James, watching from a distance, felt something twist in his gut. He wasn't a man ruled by jealousy, but instinct he trusted. And something felt off. Then came the signs: missing wood, misplaced tools, nails unscrewed. One morning, James noticed the house's blueprint, the very soul of the project, was gone. Are you sure it wasn't just moved? Diep asked gently. No, James said. Someone took it. His suspicion was confirmed when Lynn, the project manager, relayed that a man claiming to be a former partner of Miss Diep had asked about the plans. That was it. The line had been crossed. Chapter 2, Confrontation and a Bitter Claim. James confronted Pao at a roadside tea shop. Their greetings were no longer polite. I don't want trouble, Pao said, eyes narrow. But I built a life with her before you even knew her. You destroyed that life, James replied. Now let her build something new, but Pao didn't back away. Instead, he dropped a bombshell. That house is on land that should have been mine. James launched an investigation. Records revealed that Pow's family had indeed once owned a narrow strip of land, right where the house now stood. The paperwork was murky. The sale decades ago had gaps. Suddenly, the home of peace became a legal battlefield. Too Deep watched helplessly as the walls she had once designed now bore the weight of conflict. "I thought he was gone," she whispered one night. "He was," James answered, gripping her hand. "But now he's back, because he sees something worth ruining." Chapter 3. The Olive Branch. James and Too Deep chose not to crumble. They chose to stand stronger. Too Deep met Pow under the guava tree where they had once planted both seeds and memories. She looked him in the eye. "You say you've changed," she said. "Then prove it. Let go." "Walk away," Pow's voice cracked. "I never came for revenge. I just didn't want to be forgotten." "You won't be," she replied. "But that chapter is closed. I need you to let me live now." Surprisingly, he did. Pow signed documents relinquishing all rights to the land. For a while, it seemed peace had won. Chapter 4. The wind changes again. Weeks later, the house stood complete. A thing of beauty. Villagers came to admire it. The air smelled of jasmine and possibility. But something wasn't right. James noticed it first. Workers grew quiet. Lynn received a letter, unsigned, but ominous. Not all debts are written on paper. One night, a rock shattered the front window. The next morning, beneath the shards, they found a photo, faded, torn. On the back, in furious handwriting, "She was mine. You took everything. I'll take it back." Too Deep turned pale. "He said he let go," she whispered. "He promised." James clenched the photo. "It's no longer about you. It's about control." Chapter 5. A trap set. James and Lynn devised a plan. With help from a local official, they leaked a fake notice. James would be away for 3 days. The house was left unguarded. Lights dimmed. Cameras hidden. Phones ready. On the second night, a figure approached, creeping, cautious, gasoline in hand. "Wait," James whispered as Lynn moved. "Let him strike first." The man lit a match. That was all the police needed. In a flash of blue lights, Pow was arrested, charged with arson attempt, trespassing, and violating the legal agreement he had signed. He didn't resist. He just stared at the house, one last time. Chapter 6. A New Dawn. The next morning, the sun rose as if nothing had happened. James stood on the porch, coffee in hand. Too Deep joined him, her voice soft. "He won't come back, not in this life," James said. Time passed. The garden bloomed. Villagers returned with smiles. Slowly, the air turned light again. James became even gentler, more protective. He asked for nothing too deep wasn't ready to give. Until one evening, beneath paper lanterns and the fragrance of jasmine, Too Deep took his hand and said, "You built me a home, not just a house. A place where I can breathe." He looked at her. "Then stay. As long as you want." She nodded. And in the silence that followed, the last ghosts faded, leaving only the whisper of wind in wooden beams, and two steady hearts, beating in peace. Life lesson. The past only has power if you let it. The journey of Too Deep and James reminds us of a universal truth. Healing doesn't begin with revenge, it begins with release. We all carry scars, but we must choose whether to pick at them, or allow them to fade. James showed us that love isn't possession. It's protection, quiet strength, steady presence. Too Deep showed us that courage sometimes looks like walking barefoot through a garden you planted yourself, knowing storms may come, but peace is worth defending.